Pakistan has been called the axis of evil, the focal point of all terrorism in the world. Pakistan has been accused for fostering terrorism. But isn't it strange that the country which is the biggest sufferer of terrorism, the country which has paid the highest price to this global terrorism, is the same country which is being accused of fostering terrorism? Pakistan is many things. Pakistanis are many things, but they're not stupid. Why would any political government, why would any dictatorship, why would any intelligence agency, why would any nation foster terrorism while they themselves are the biggest sufferers of terrorism? Which nation would want their children, their women, their young men, their old men be killed at the hands of terrorism and yet foster terrorism? Something is just not right. Something is amiss. But what is that? Where is the flip side of the story? Where is the other side? Pakistan suffers at the hands of terrorism from within her ranks. There are terrorists within the country. But are we funding them? Are we fostering them? Are we giving them safe haven? Why would we ever do that? Just do the math. Simple math. If these people kill our children, why would we foster them? And is it really possible that a country with one of the largest armies, with a premium intelligence agency, with a nation which is intelligent, educated, bold, do you really think we can't beat terrorism within our ranks? Truth is we can't, because it's not just simple terrorism. This is terrorism being aided, being funded, being supported by very large forces, organized forces, state-level forces. And it's definitely not the state of Pakistan, because it makes no sense. It's absolute nonsense. Our own state is the victim of this terrorism. And why have we failed to beat terrorism within the country? Because terrorism within Pakistan is supported by a very, very large war machine. And this war machine is not within Pakistan. It's on the borders of Pakistan. India has been accused of creating this image of Pakistan as the focal point of all terrorism. India has been accused of fostering and funding terrorism within Pakistan. But is there any evidence to this? Is there any evidence that supports this?
The immediate impulse to defect was Bangladesh crisis, which was described by American correspondents as Islamic grassroots revolution, which is absolute baloney. In Bangladesh, it was nothing with grassroots. Most of the Awami League party members, Awami League means People's Party, were trained in Moscow in the high party school. Most of the Mukti Fauj leaders, Mukti Fauj in Bengali means People's Army, same as SWAPO and all kind of liberation armies all over the world, the same bunch of useful idiots. They were trained at Lumumba University and various centers of the KGB in Simferopol, in Crimea, and in Tashkent. So when I saw that Indian territory is being used as a jumping board to destroy East Pakistan, I saw myself thousands of so-called students traveling through India to East Pakistan, through the territory of India, and Indian government pretended not to see what's going on. They knew perfectly well, the Indian police knew it, the intelligence department of the Indian government knew it, the KGB of course knew it, and the CIA knew it. One of my colleagues in the Soviet consulate in Calcutta, when he was dead drunk, he ventured into the basement to relieve himself, and he found big boxes which said printed matter to Dhaka University. Dhaka is the capital of East Pakistan. And since he was drunk and curious, he opened one of the boxes and he discovered not printed matter. He discovered Kalashnikov guns and ammunition in there. Anyway, it's a long story. When I saw the preparations for the invasion into East Pakistan, obviously I wanted to defect immediately.
Pakistan is simply not enjoying the cordiality of the United States at the moment because it's looking out for its own national interests. President Obama, Prime Minister Cameron have surrendered in Afghanistan. They're pulling out troops. They're going to leave Pakistan with an enormous mess to clean up. And what the Pakistanis are doing is what all countries need to do, and that's look after their own national interests. And what Senator Graham, Secretary Clinton, Senator McCain, President Obama, they want the Pakistanis to do our dirty work for us. And the Pakistanis have simply said, we've supported you for 11 years, we can't do it anymore, you're killing our stability. The Pakistanis have helped us more than anyone has a right to expect. And now we're there 10 years, we haven't won the war, we're going to leave without winning, we're leaving the Pakistanis with a mess.
What do you mean when you say a mess?
Well, Afghanistan, they cannot tolerate Karzai's government. Karzai's government is close to the Iranians, it's close to the Russians, it's closer to the Indians of all people, and it poses a threat to Pakistani security on their western border.
Taliban will listen to the Deobandis much more. And today the goodwill for India and Afghanistan, India is the most popular country in Afghanistan.
We also have a history of kind of moving in and out of Pakistan. I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan, and we did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work. And it was President Reagan, in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen. And let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is, wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow because we will harvest. So we then left Pakistan. We said, okay, fine, you deal with the stingers that we've left all over your country. You deal with the mines that are along the border. And by the way, we don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, we're sanctioning you.
Funding are denied to the terrorists by countering it with the funds. More than 1.5 times of the funds available to them. So if they have got a budget of 1,200 crores, you can match it with 1,800 crores. They are all on our side. At least they won't do. They are mercenaries. You think they are the great fighters? What are they fighting for?
Russia and China will pay a price because they are holding up progress, blockading it, that is no longer tolerable.
So in the smothering process, one thing is tackling Pakistan. How do we tackle Pakistan? I talked about their having the nuclear threshold, having the strategic weapon systems, missiles, strategic partnership with China. India is having a long border with China and Pakistan. How do we tackle with it?
The goal, once again, is to destroy Pakistan as an energy corridor between Iraq, Iran, other countries in the Middle East that produce oil, and China, because that's where a pipeline could go. The pipeline could start in Iraq, it could go to Iran, it can go up through Pakistan, cross the Himalayas, above Kashmir, go into China. This would be oil going towards China and Chinese economic influence coming into the Middle East and essentially cutting out the Anglo-Americans.
And how is that going to happen, the destruction of Pakistan?
The idea is to provoke a civil war. In other words, take the existing civil war inside Afghanistan and massively export it. The U.S. would possibly consider a direct attack on Pakistan, but they can't, because Pakistan is too big and it has nuclear weapons. So there's nuclear deterrence. The only way to do it is to take the Pashtun population in Afghanistan and Pakistan, rile them up into an independence movement, do the same thing with the people in Baluchistan, and with that you've carved Afghanistan, you've broken Pakistan into 4 pieces or 3, and you've even started to carve Iran, because those Baluchis are a peripheral group of the Iranians. So
Pakistan's vulnerability is many, many times higher than of India. Once they know that India has shifted its gear from the defensive mode to defensive offense, they will find that it is unaffordable for them. You can do one Mumbai, you may lose Baluchistan.
Do the same thing with the people in Baluchistan, and with that you've carved
They have to stop the civil war in the country. They have to stop the war that's going on their own territory because of their help for the United States.
With unlimited money, a group of essentially desperate and poor and mentally challenged individuals, bring in some junk weapons and you've got a case and you can inflame public opinion and direct that against your foreign target, which is what they're doing in this case, and it's Pakistan.
पठानकोट एयरबेस पर हुए आतंकी हमले में पाकिस्तान का सीधा हाथ अब सामने आ गया है।
हाँ बेटा, कहाँ हो?
मैं फिदायीन मिशन पर हूँ।
बेटा, जान देने से पहले खाना खा लेना।
Now when we come into the defensive offense, then we start working on the vulnerabilities of Pakistan. It can be economic, it can be internal security, it can be political, it can be their isolation internationally, it can be their this thing like that, of exposing their terrorist activities, or it can be anything. It can be defeating their policies in Afghanistan, making it difficult for them to manage internal political balance or internal security. I'm not going into those details.
Based on the evidence publicly available about the sinister and horrible plans of India to destabilize the region, I think it is time the world recognizes the real threat. Pakistan is not the real threat to the world. Pakistan is not the real threat to the region. Pakistan is not the axis of evil that is made out to be. Pakistan is not the nation fostering terrorism. There's nowhere on earth Pakistan's government, Pakistan's establishment, army, and the people of Pakistan would foster terrorism, because the terrorism in this region is hurting no one more than Pakistan itself. It won't take anything more than common sense to understand that Pakistan has no interest in terrorism. Pakistan is paying the highest price of this terrorism. It is time for the global community to take action against the real supporter of terrorism in this region, that Pakistan will not sit back and be hurt and damaged like this. We know how to defend ourselves. We know how to protect ourselves. Pakistan and every Pakistani knows how to fight the terrorism, the enemy, and the dangers within our ranks and those beyond our borders. We will defend ourselves at any price, at any cost.